All right, we're here with Zeitler, who set a school record with 21 tackles in the Warriors' 27-7 win over Aurora. Eric, talk a little bit about the defense, how important it was to hold them just to 7 points.
The whole defense played great today. It was remarkable from what we started at the beginning of the season to where we are now. I mean, I have to owe it to my D-line opening holes and then secondary for making tackles that got up to them. It's not just me, it's the whole team.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about your D-line, very young at the beginning of the season. Just a little bit about how much they've grown from game one going forward.
Oh, I mean, we started out with, I think one's junior and the rest sophomores and freshmen, and it's remarkable. Just awesome how they've grown and how stronger they've gotten as a team.
Now, obviously, the game plan going into this week, I'm going to assume stop the run. They had one running back ran it, I believe, 54 times for the. Was that the plan? Stop the run, make the pass?
Aurora, we knew it was their fourth quarterback of the season, and that they just put in a converted DB at running back, and we knew that he had a pretty good game last week, so we had to stop the run. Pass game, they were at their fourth quarterback, so I mean, it was still an issue, but not as big as if it was their first string quarterback, I guess.
Alrighty, and then next week you guys are going to go for the first time ever for 4 straight victories. You got Benedictine, unbeaten in conference. How big would it be to get a win in the season?
It'd be huge. To beat the conference champions, that's a lot of pride right there if you beat up on them.
Alrighty, well, we're here again with Zeitler, who set a school record with 21 tackles in the Warriors' 27-7 win. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, we are here with quarterback Zack Shaw and wide receiver Josh Stadola. Zach, it was 8 for 14 for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. Josh had 2 catches, both for touchdowns and 96 yards. Zach, let's start with you. The first drive of the game, you were able to get a couple of long passes, score a touchdown. How big was that to get the momentum?
Huge, especially against a team like Aurora, who we've had great games. I mean, going back to last year's game, great game, went down to the wire. So being able to expose their weaknesses right away, gets the crowd, gets the team, everyone's into it, and we're ready to go, so that was huge.
And Josh, take us to that first touchdown, a little bit of a jump ball, just able to out-jump the cornerback?
I was just glad the corner wasn't looking backward, he was just staring at me, so I kind of played with him a little bit, kind of took him off direction, just last minute just reached out and caught it. So,
and now for either one of you guys, first half after that scoring drive, a little bit slow. Second half, you guys came out, I believe it was 10 plays, 260 yards in the third quarter, 3 touchdowns. What adjustments did you guys make at halftime?
Wasn't really a lot of adjustments. We just sort of executed a lot better. We at the first half they keyed on our run game a lot. They blitzed. They looked at personnel, what personnel we had on the field, and adjusted to that. But so in the second half, I guess we just sort of threw some wrinkles in, passed the ball with running players in, and so that was really the only change we did. We ran the same plays, we just executed well.
Set up the 29 naked really well.
Yeah, we set up that deep pass I had to him was we ran the ball I think 4 or 5 times in a row, and then we set that up with that same motion look they saw before. And just hit them.
Yeah, how important is it to have backs like Jesse, Donovan? I mean, obviously they draw a lot of attention.
Makes our job a lot easier.
Oh yeah, when
defense on edge.
Yeah, especially on that touchdown I threw to him, it was. I remember actually hearing on that play fake their entire sideline yelling, "Run, run!" With the way they explode out of the backfield, every defense has got to respect it.
And then I asked Eric this: next week, you guys go for 4 straight wins for the first time in school history. You got the conference leader Benedictine. How big would that be to end the season with a victory over them?
It's definitely the way I want to end the season.
Yeah, especially against Benedictine. We've had 2 real good games against them. Our freshman year, we lost by 2 points last year. I mean, and just heartbreak at the end, but huge to beat them, especially at Benedictine. That's
want to send off these seniors the right way.
Yeah, send off the seniors the right way. We want to end the season beating them. That'd be a huge statement for us.
Alrighty, well, again, we're here with quarterback Zack Shaw and wide receiver Josh Stadola. Zach, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns. Josh, 2 catches, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns in their 27-7 win over Aurora. Thanks, guys.
Aurora by a final score of 27-14. Now joined by head coach Dennis Miller. And coach, and I said it right before we took it to the break right there. If you're Rich Duncan and you're told you're going to win the time of possession by 16 minutes, your average starting field position is going to be your own 45-yard line. I imagine he would have felt pretty good about what that meant for this football game this afternoon. And your team overcame those 2 elements, which in football are just so vital to success, but not today.
Yeah, it's surprising when you say that we had as much success as we had, but we made big plays, we made gash plays, kind of, and I think that's kind of become, every year at the beginning of the season we talk about what's the personality going to be, and by and large our personality has become kind of a bam bam and then a slash play that gets us going, and that certainly was the case today. Defensively, I just thought we played a very good game. Once we figured out Trujillo a little bit, and his running style and what they wanted to do with him, I just thought we did a really good job in that area.
Take us back, if you could, to the locker room at halftime, because in that first half you lead 7-0. You scored a touchdown in your first possession, and we thought we were going to be set for 14-7, 14-10, something like that. Third quarter, you run 10 plays. You put up 261 yards, 20 points, including a couple of those big gash plays you mentioned. Was it schematic? Was it just simple execution? A little of both? Because there was a very big disparity as we watched today in that first half and in that really third quarter.
Yeah, what I'll tell you is there was a lot of work going on at halftime. We were changing a lot of our blocking schemes. Coach Fossen did a great job at making some subtle adjustments so that the run game could get going. Because they were bottling us up pretty well in the first half. And so there was a lot of work going on the chalkboard and just kind of making some changes, both in terms of some blocking stuff and some formational things, just trying to give some different looks to their defense. And then the other thing is we all had a chance to just kind of say, they're not defending the long post pattern. And we didn't even take a poke at it really in the first half. In the second half we did a few times and had some success with it. So it was a great halftime from the stands of just going in and refocusing what we wanted to do.
You come out in that third quarter, and obviously, a couple of 90-plus yard drives. When Zach comes out and hits Stodola from 70 yards, you could just see the momentum carry from that point forward.
No doubt about it. And football is a game of emotion and momentum. A lot of sports are, but I'm not sure there's any sport more so than football, because if you get it going, you got a 7-point deal happening, and the attitude was better. People felt like, okay, their offense, to be very honest with you, they're not a great offense. I mean, they're playing their fifth quarterback, so their ability to throw the ball the way they'd like to is not there. And so we felt like if we could get some space, if we could get some distance between us and them, that we were going to be able to do just fine today.
We've talked, and this is kind of a theme now, but it's worth mentioning, we've talked about the play action game. And I'm curious, if you guys are not able to come out of the locker room and run successfully on those first couple plays, including the Muldrow, who takes it to 15 yards on one of those first plays of the second half, which sets up the play action. If you're not able to run successfully in that third quarter, do you still think that play action would have been as successful as it did to Stodola, to Klein, and what?
I actually do today, because schematically they weren't dealing very well with that post pattern behind. So I think that we probably would have been okay today on that. To be honest with you, I wish that I would have gone to that earlier in the game, because I think we would have had some success then. But just glad that we figured it out when we did.
To the defense then for just a minute longer, Coach, and get your take on Eric Zeitler, who was our player of the game last week and won Defensive Conference Player of the Week honors for his performance last week against the Falcons. 21 tackles, he breaks Phil Ham's record by 2, a record of 19. 21 for Zeitler, 7 of them solo, 1 for a loss. And as Sam and I said, I think early in the first quarter, we were calling his name a lot. And it seemed like 21 today. Sometimes you get the stats and you go, whoa, but he was special today. Yeah,
I'm kind of blown away by 21. I mean, I played linebacker in college, and that was probably 3 games worth for me. So that is a good day's work, and he did just a nice job. He had a real good feel for Trujillo, and he had a good feel for what they were doing, and he's rounding into a very, very fine linebacker.
The entire core is like
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. As we said last week, when the season started, we were a young defense. Flat out, end of conversation. Look at all the kids who graduated the year before. We're not a young defense now. We're playing like a mature defense, and it's showing on the field. And it's pretty fun because they're going to be around for a while.
Finally, Coach Benedictine, I didn't see, they squeaked by Rockford today, 33-28. They were trailing at halftime to Rockford. So they're going to be playing for an outright championship next Saturday. And as Sam and I also said towards the end there, I can't think of any better way or any bigger role for you guys to be on heading into final week of the season, going down to Benedictine, trying to knock them off and end what it now is a 16-game conference winning streak.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty good.
I'm real excited about it, and you know, we believe as a coaching staff, and I'll reiterate this with our team on Monday. We've had 5 bad quarters, and 5 bad quarters cost us 2 conference football games. And aside from those 5 bad quarters, and you don't get an aside. That's how the season unfolded. But we feel like we're playing as well as anybody in the conference right now. And I'm very excited about having the chance to go play our playoff team to see how we're going to match up with them. I think it'll be a good game. I know that last year, you know, the question was, are they going to rest some players before they get to the playoffs and so on? And they didn't. They played everybody right to the bitter end, and I suspect that will be their plan this week. And that's what I want. I want their best shot, and they'll get our best shot, and we'll see what happens next week.
All right, Coach, we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Thanks, Scott.
That's Coach Dennis Miller. We will have our post-game.